In the first 39 years of the Ballon d'Or, only European players were eligible for the award. That is why legends of the game such as Pele or Maradona never won the Ballon d'Or. But in 1995, for the first time in its history, the Ballon d'Or was made open for any player from around the globe. Following this, George Weah became the first non-European as well as the first African to win the Ballon d'Or. To say he was revered by the footballing community would be an understatement. Weah was impressing in Italy with AC Milan. Meanwhile in England, many clubs and coaches were receiving phone calls from someone claiming to be George Weah, who was recommending them to sign his unknown cousin Ali Dia. The caller claimed that Dia had played with Weah at Paris Saint-Germain and had even scored a few goals for the French club. And despite Weah being Liberian, the caller claimed that Ali Dia had already amassed 13 caps for the Senegalese national team, scoring a handful of goals in the process. And you might think there's no way this worked, but it did. We have to remember that this was well before the advancement of the internet. Even Google wasn't created back then, so cross-checking someone's information wasn't as easy as it is today. So a few clubs fell victim to this deception. Bournemouth, Coventry, Port Vale and Gillingham were among those who gave him an opportunity to try out for them. But once they saw him with the ball at his feet, it soon became crystal clear to all of them that he wasn't a professional footballer, not even a Sunday League quality. Gillingham coach Tony Pulis labeled Dia rubbish, and some managers never bought into the scam in the first place. One of those was the then West Ham manager Harry Redknapp, who was quick to shut down the hoax after receiving the phone call. But one manager in particular fell victim to the con job. It was Southampton manager Graham Souness. The Saints, who had a shortage of attackers due to an injury crisis, decided to give Ali Dia a 30-day contract. Immediately after signing his contract, Dia was scheduled to play for the reserves against Arsenal in midweek in order to assess his performance levels, but due to poor weather, the game was cancelled. Dia only participated in just a single training session, and due to his poor outing in the training, many of the players thought that he was just a Saints fan who won a competition to be with the team. By the end of the week, Dia somehow made it to the matchday squad for the Premier League game against Leeds United. Just 30 minutes into the game, Matt Le Tissier was down injured. With no attacking options on the bench, Graham Souness had no choice but to sub on Ali Dia. Ali put on his number 33 shirt and entered a Premier League match. Despite him looking lost on the pitch, he somehow registered a shot on target, but it was clear to everyone that he didn't belong on the football pitch. And by the 85th minute, he was subbed off for a defender. And after the game, Graham Souness was grilled by the media for giving a Premier League debut to a nobody. And he had this to say about the predicament he found himself in. It just goes to show the state of things at the club at the moment that a player I have never seen, let alone watched playing a game, was able to play in the Premiership. According to the club physio, Ali arrived at the club facilities for treatment the next day, but after that, he was never seen in Southampton again. Though his time in the Premiership was cut short, Ali had pocketed £2,000 for his short stint with the Saints. But Dia wasn't done with his deception. Based off his minimal Premier League fame, he secured a move to non-league side Gateshead. He even received £1,500 as a signing bonus. It seemed he had finally found a league relatively closer to his ability, as he scored a couple of goals for Gateshead. But not long after joining Gateshead, the newspapers finally shed light on his deception. But speaking to Gateshead Post, Ali brushed off the allegation saying, "I've been portrayed as a con man and a poor player, but I am neither, and I intend to prove people wrong. Obviously, I'm disappointed not to have made it in the Premiership, but I've got faith in my own ability, and my only concern now is Gateshead. My contract is just until the end of the season, but if things go well, who knows, I could stay longer." He even claimed that he had recently scored a goal for Senegal as they beat Guinea 3-1 in the World Cup qualifiers. But this was completely false, as Senegal had already been knocked out of the qualifiers in the first round. Following this, the Gateshead fans sang, "Ali Dia is a liar," every time he touched the ball. And it didn't surprise anyone when his Gateshead career was cut short just after 8 games. Further digging into his background revealed that, before his arrival in England, he had successfully conned 2 Finnish clubs, Fempa and VfB Lübeck. So after his con job was made public, Weah left football behind and returned to education. He graduated from Northumbria University in 2001 with a business major, and he received his master's in business administration from SFSU in 2003. After completing his education, Weah worked in the business sector in Qatar. In a 2016 interview with Bleacher Report, Weah claimed that the Southampton story was hurtful and insisted that he never lied. And contrary to reports, he claimed that he had actually trained with Southampton for a month and a half before his debut. Weah might have conned his way into achieving the prestige of becoming a Premier League player, but without any shadow of a doubt, Ali Weah is the worst player to have ever played in the Premier League.